Warning: the following program contains language which some may find offensive. Some words have been censored just because of the times we live in. Listener discretion advised.
This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I am El Nino. All the tropical storms must bow before El Nino. And what you gonna do when all the media in the left side of the world revolve on you?
Because some came in the mail today.
Yeah, I did.
These nuts. Got him.
Are you ready?
Video.
Ready? Oh wait, I gotta get my glasses on, right? Phone's on. I gotta put my glasses on. I think we're good though.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, the Comedy Simp podcast, live at the Whiskey Mile. I'm here with Nicholas Ryan Cody. What's up, Nick?
Hey, appreciate it. Stephen Michael James as the two biggest well-known three-name serial killers right now in the comedy scene. We're out here just getting ready for another Whiskey Mile open mic. Pretty excited about it. This is my third time being here, but yeah, just glad to be back out. And this is my third time on the Comedy Simp podcast.
No.
That's got to be a record, right?
No, not third. You've only been on twice.
Sir, I've been on a guest appearance right here,
okay.
and you gave me the old candid call, which I need to
Yeah.
explain, defend myself. This man did not fully up front tell me he was recording. I'm telling you,
Very
there are artists in this area that could have been got. Just remember, if Stephen Michael James calls you late at night, you make sure you confirm whether he's recording your call or not, okay? And again, whether this is comedy podcast related or whatever else y'all are doing out on the sides, make sure you know he's not recording it.
Well, I will say that was actually an illegal activity. I did not tell him. Well, I think I told him I was doing the podcast. I don't know. Maybe I didn't exactly disclose that I was recording.
So
the
it was
phone call,
like
but
this. I'm doing a podcast tonight, and then
Kinda like
hey,
Linda-
you want to call me after the open mic's done, since I'm
Yeah.
not going to come out to support the Shanghai Room open mic. So yeah, one of those.
Kind of like Linda Tripp didn't record any of her phone calls either.
Well, oh wow, all right.
Dude, actually, do you remember when John Goodman used to dress up as Linda Tripp on Saturday Night Live?
Briefly, of all the John Goodman things, it was not in the prefrontal cortex of my brain, but you put it there.
Whenever a large man, not a regular man, but a large man dresses like a woman, it is very, very hilarious.
Well, dude, John Goodman also has that, like, for at least anybody in my area that had, like, that hard-working fucking two jobs dad, like, he portrays the closest image on film TV ever to, like, what my dad was like. So, dude, John Goodman's always had a free pass from me, man. Whatever he wants to do, like, even if they wanted to do another, Blues Brothers right now, let it pass if you got John Goodman involved.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was in Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this noise is weird. I don't know what this white
Yeah,
noise
there is a little feedback. Hopefully you guys aren't getting it, and if it is, I trust you. Me and Steven are
We're professionals. We're audio
and experts at talking
Yes.
over shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, actually, I'm a big fan of John Goodman. That guy has been in my entire life, going all the way back to when I was a child. You're a little bit younger than me, but pretty much there was a whole generation that remembers this movie Arachnophobia.
Oh yes, sir.
Because
I mean,
everybody hates spiders. You know, everybody was scared of spiders. You know, women want the men to kill the spiders. They're just afraid. And that was this, like, it preyed on everybody's fears. I mean, there had been a lot of different spider movies in the past, like these big monster movies from the 50s. But this was like a real, like, it was a horror movie. It was like, I think it was a Spielberg produced.
There was also that phase right there, like that, like silly extreme horror was really thriving, but it wasn't producing the box office numbers they expected. Like what Mars Attacks is the same kind of thing. It was like, you'll never make that movie again. Like, you will never make that movie again. But there are some great moments from it that you like. Oh yeah.
Hold on. Let's talk about this here.
Let's do it.
Just for a sec. Mars Attacks. So I've been talking. So my daughter, she's 5. She just turned 6. Starting to introduce her to stuff. She really loves The Nightmare Before Christmas, and now she's starting to get into some of the other Tim Burton stuff. And I showed her the movie Mars Attacks because I was like, yeah, it's PG-13, but there's nothing that bad in it. Like, yeah, a woman gets her head cut off and sewed to a dog, but it's so...
I was going to say the body dysmorphia, like how does your daughter feel about having like a pet now? Like,
yeah, no. And it didn't bother her at all. She liked the movie. It was cool. She kind of, I mean, you know, she's got special needs, so she didn't pay attention to the whole thing, but... I got a call from my wife the next day and said, hey, your daughter got in trouble at school today for pretending she had a gun, and she was drawing pictures of guns. And I said, oh, that's weird. And she said, yeah, my daddy showed me Mars Attacks, and they shoot everybody in that movie. And I was like, it's not a gun, it's a laser. And my wife was like, that's what she said. That was the same argument that she tried to make. And I was like, yeah, because it's a valid argument. It's not a gun.
It is. But, dude, I was someone that saw, my sister took me to see Beavis and Butthead in theaters. When at the time, that was 98, and I was 8 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I got in trouble at school for pulling up my shirt over my head and being like, I am Cornholio. I need TV for my butthole. Wow. And even worse, like, I had a reputation built up. When I was in kindergarten, I wore a Goosebumps shirt to school once, and it was from the book, those Goosebumps aficionados out there, Say Cheese and Die. And it was a cover of the book where it's a picture of...
I was going to ask you to describe it, but you're about to do it, so go ahead.
I was going to, but I thought you knew it for a second. You looked like...
No, like, I had like 40 Goosebumps books when I was a kid, and I probably read like 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I just like
they might have been above your reading level, so probably. I understand. I get it.
Even they probably are now. But yeah, Say Cheese and Die. Like, I remember the name. So what was the cover?
The cover picture was a family at a barbecue that was all skeletons, because as you took the picture and the old school photograph developed, it was everybody as a skeleton or dead, and it spooked so many children out. Versus, like, also, it didn't help that I was like almost probably 6 foot as a kindergartner. Like, people were already intimidated. So the school literally called my parents and said, hey, we're not going to suspend him. We're just going to have him wear his shirt inside out for the rest of the day today. I was like, please just send me home. I don't want to be here anymore. You guys, this is bullshit.
I'm going to tell this story right now just for the clip. I'm going to tag JV Josta. When I was like 15 or 16, I used to wear, I had 2 Hatebreed shirts that I got, I think from Ozfest, or I bought them online, and I'd wear them all the time, and I had a substitute teacher, and she looked at my shirt, and I had worn the shirt so many times at school, but the substitute was like, hey, it's not cool to breed hate, and I had to go turn my shirt inside out, and I was so mad, and the worst part was, like, when I flipped my shirt inside out, you can see all the deodorant stains on the sides of my shirt. And I had to wear that the rest of the day.
Dude.
Like, I was pissed.
And so the other one, dude, that's crazy. So I'm glad that we got that. Yeah. The other thing I was reminded of is the silliest movie quote I got in trouble for at school as a kid. I got to see The Mask when it was in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, like, I was always a character when I was little, too. So I remember specifically sitting at a Lego table, and at some point, I'd made something really fucking cool, and I'm sharing it with everybody, and I steal from Jim Carrey. I go, I'm smoking! And somebody reported me to the teacher that I was fucking smoking in fucking, like, first grade or kindergarten. That's not what it means, you idiots.
Jesus.
And so I had to get a warning, not only from, like, my kindergarten, first grade teacher, whichever one of you it was. I understand. I'd actually go to the principal's office, too, and be like, you cannot talk about smoking. I was like, have you guys there's a movie.
Yeah.
I'm a kid, and you guys aren't even aware of it being out there in popular culture. So I can only imagine the kind of shit we're getting into nowadays. But again, out there, at least we both have that fair experience of being asked, change your shirt because we don't understand your culture.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't get in trouble a lot, but I did get in trouble, like, enough to where I could remember most of the times, and, like, the most like, I remember one time I got in a fight with this kid, and we didn't even have any issues with each other. It was like in elementary school, like, I just walked out there to the field. They're like the football field where everybody would be playing, and, like, they're pushing this guy around. I jump in, and we're all pushing each other around, and then all of a sudden me and him are pushing each other, and then we're punching each other, and then all of a sudden we're in the vice principal's office, and I'm like, I was actually friends with this dude. How the hell did this happen,
Me imagining you in a fight is a very difficult thing to do.
Well, this guy was he was he was a very young twink, so he was like my size, like we were very evenly matched. His name was Devin Apodaca. Shout out. I haven't thought about you in a long time.
Shout out to Devin in your battle for twink dominance with this guy.
And I remember after that, I actually hung out with the kid. I went to his house.
Oh, I bet you guys did a lot of things together.
Oh, we played Earthworm Jim.
Oh, wow.
At least that's what we call it.
Yeah. Complete with all the upgrades.
Well done. That's a deep cut for your Earthworm Jim fans.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys got all up in each other's Earthworm Jim suits. I get it.
But, yeah, no, dude, the worst, I did get suspended from school for 2 weeks. And this goes back to, like, comedian and telling bad jokes. I was in the 8th grade. This was Jefferson Middle School in Eugene, Oregon. And I was in the 8th grade. I was like the new kid, so I had moved in the middle of the year from California. I didn't really know anybody. I was very shy. And for whatever reason, there was this science teacher, and this kid came in late from class or whatever. And she was like, well, you're not going to be able to do this anymore now that you're late. And then I just said, like, oh, man, just say you're late because you're planning on killing her or something like that. Something, it wasn't even a joke. Like, I don't even know what. And everybody turned around and looked at me. And she looked at me, and she was like, that's not really funny, Steven. And I was like, what, do you guys think I'm going to bring a gun to school?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been caught in traps like that. I wish, but I can't also say that, like, I hadn't been, like, until I was a college football prospect, I was in a lot of trouble. Once I realized, like, oh, yeah, I could go to college on football, I was fucking straight and narrow. But there was a sketchy point of time there. I was suspended multiple years in pre-middle school, elementary school. There is one time there was a group of friends that was all sitting around, like, joking about one particular student, and everybody's saying, like, what's the worst thing you could do to that student? And I will just say I came up with the worst fucking thing to do to that student as a joke, because who would actually do it?
Yeah.
But when you're the guy that comes up with the most horrific thing that people can think of in 3rd grade, and you look like you're a 6th grader, like, it was not a good look for me. I apologize to everybody involved with that. If you know, you know. If not, I'm just going to keep it at this. That one person was like, hey, decapitation is the worst possible thing. And I was like, well, what if before you decapitated them, you were going to prick, say, 100,000 needles up their asshole?
Ooh.
I think at the time I was simple-minded. I probably only said a couple hundred. But, you know, I was like, and now, as a guy that's, you know, I realized I'd seen too many horror movies at the time as a kid, like, probably not something you're supposed to tell other 3rd graders, but, like, somebody comes out thinking they're a badass with decapitation. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you there's worse things.
Well, you know, honestly, 100 years ago, we were brutal. And 200 years ago, we were savages. And 300 years ago, we were basically cave people. I mean, like there's all these like true stories of like these terrible people from back in the day, like Elizabeth Bathory, is that her name?
Hmm?
Like she was like this. I don't know. Jack the Ripper was another one. You know, a killer out there on the loose, killing prostitutes.
I mean,
And,
we're still waiting to figure out with Epstein if anything's going to come of that.
Yeah. And then there was this guy, and I know they've tried to make movies about him, but his story is so brutal and so disturbing that you can't really make a mainstream movie about him. There's this guy named Albert Fish. Have you ever heard of him?
I've not.
So Albert Fish was this killer. I don't know if a serial killer is the right thing, but there was a study about him in like the early 1900s. He was in a mental hospital, and that he had like done bad things to children, killed children, and that he had stabbed. He'd put like 50 needles through his penis and all this like crazy like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where things took a very different escalation.
Yeah.
Like the rest of that, it checks out, killer, mind.
But
all right, you're really fucked if you're doing that.
But there's insinuating that he did bad things to them, and he also consumed them as food as well. So like, there's all this like weird stuff about this Albert Fish guy. But yeah, and he was a real person. I mean, but then again, think about it. Back then, how do we trust history anyways? Because everything was like, I mean, how do we trust anything? And everything is just what people say. But
it's very interesting that two people in Washington coming out with three first names are trying to be like, let's dispel serial killers.
Yeah, no.
What if?
It's just a myth. They don't exist.
I'm getting a little
nervous. It was
nervous.
something that happened a long time ago. You know,
are we outing ourselves in podcast form? Like, no, like, God, we know a little too much. Huh?
I actually, what do you think about?
Actually,
do you think this is like kind of related to the serial killer thing?
Yeah.
Me and my wife were watching this series recently. It was called like Love is Good, or Love is whatever it is. It's about this cult that existed just like 15 years ago, and this woman was like a hippie, and she had these like she would go on YouTube and do these live streams, and she got these people to like live with her, and she got really sick, and they kept giving her this like silver, this like colloidal silver, and like she turned blue and she ended up dying and stuff like that. But they all believed that she was like this reincarnation of God, and this was only 10-15 years ago. And, you know, there were so many cults and stuff in the 80s and 90s that, do you think that even now and today, do you think that there's some cults out there still operating?
Absolutely. I mean, we still haven't banned Mormons, have we? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have a lot of Mormon friends out there. In fact, one of you owes me a planet. You know that? Or at least as far as I understand Mormon lore. I think they owe me a planet. I don't know the rules if I'm an atheist, if they can still transfer their loan on their post-life world to me, but I'm hoping for it because you made a deal, motherfucker. You made a deal, and I'm going to pay it. Like, I don't care if I go to hell or whatever. I'm going to find you. I'm going to make sure I get that planet.
You know what I would really like to do is get a Mormon on here and ask him all the questions that I like. Like, I used to know this guy named Norm, which is hilarious because he was Norman the Mormon. Yeah. Shout out Norm Campbell. He's like 80 years old.
This isn't true. You just made a character for yourself.
This guy was so like, he was the calmest, nicest dude ever. And he's like, oh, yeah, I was in a helicopter in Nam, and it went down, and everybody died except for me. I was like, really? And he's like, and now I'm just a Mormon, you know, like, you know.
Bro, literally, if you instead of slicking your hair up, slicked it to the side, you could be Norman. It could be your shtick.
Hello, mother. It's me, Norman. It's nice to see you.
I just wanted to talk to you today about Joseph Smith and everything that he's taught me.
But, like, you know, I always hear this stuff about the underwear, right? They have that special underwear that they wear.
Yeah.
You know, conserving food, which they were the smartest ones during COVID, you know. They already were like, hey, you guys all emptying out your toilet paper. We already have it, you know. We saw it coming. You know?
Yeah, the other thing,
The COVID was predicted on those golden plates.
my favorite thing though is that every Mormon church I ever went to, as a part of people that babysat me, they always had a gym. So it's like, oh, everybody's gonna go talk Bible and stuff. Like, I'm gonna just sneak out, go to the bathroom, shoot some hoops for like 20 minutes. Like, my bad. I thought God would appreciate that, you know, I was out there trying to like get the ball up high, up near him, so he could see it.
So, you know, you played a little ball. Did you ever?
Football, to be clear,
Yeah.
not basketball.
Did
God,
you-
no.
Okay, I'm really not smart when it comes to like divisions, Pac-12 and stuff like that.
Obviously,
does
Pac-12 is done.
Yeah,
Literally,
I know,
like in
not
a week,
anymore,
in a week when the baseball season is over, Pac-12 is
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
You can forget about it.
So my question is, does Oregon and Utah, do they ever play each other?
So we used to in the Pac-12,
Yeah.
and pre-Pac-12, I was there at Oregon back when it was the Pac-10, and we had a non-conference game with Utah in 2009, which is actually my second game I ever got playing time in. And they were a non-conference opponent at the time, and then joined the conference, and have been a pain in our ass ever since they joined. And now they are in the Big 12, which has fucking like 14 teams, and Oregon, are in the Big 10, which has 16 teams. So you could tell, as long as you're letting football teams decide what your conference is called, just remember, we aren't good with numbers,
Yeah.
my friends. We don't do counting too good.
Barely remember where they are.
A doctor told me one time, for every year I played football, I should deduct 2 years of that off my lifespan. I said, Doc, you're going to have to do that calculation for me. I graduated in football, not math.
Yeah. Hey, and you can hear jokes like that at the Whiskey Mile.
Yes.
Um,
I was trying to layer that one in there like it wasn't a joke I've said 100 times, but you know.
Well, I bring it up because did you ever go to Salt Lake City like for football?
I
or-
thankfully didn't. They came to
Oh,
us.
okay.
The
I was just gonna ask you if you ever been there. That's all.
No, dude. I wish, but I don't think I'd last long. The fact that it'd be that hard to find Mountain Dew, let alone alcohol, like I don't know how long it would. Like I'd last in Utah.
So it's I went there last year for work, and I walked around a little bit. It was very interesting. It's clean. It's very clean. I assume you've been to Spokane, right?
Spokompton, as
Yeah.
Washingtonians would better know it. Yeah, Spokompton.
To be honest with you, I feel like Salt Lake City and Spokane have a lot of similarities as far as the vibe, as far as the layout of the city, as far as like the different style buildings. Just maybe Salt Lake City's kind of more grand, you know.
Yeah,
because they have more
I
money.
totally relate the like Western Idaho, Eastern Washington vibe to Utah for sure. I've
Yeah.
always thought that.
So, but I went to Wise Guys Comedy Club down there and signed up for their open mic. It was a long open mic. I swear to God, it was almost 4 hours. It had to have been like 4 hours. And first of all, I bought a ticket to go there because I thought you had to.
And
Like
the new guy ends up going on last.
$5. Well, I was gonna say, and then they're like, "Oh, you're performing? You didn't have to pay." I'm like, "Oh, great! Thanks for telling me." So I had all these guys from my work, and they're like not from my job, but they're from the Salt Lake branch. So I just visited them. I kind of knew them. I said, "Hey, come out, watch me do comedy." And it's a bucket, you know. Every comedian knows about the whole bucket, and you just never know. You know, you could be first or last. And I swear to you that they picked my name earlier and just didn't recognize it. And they're like, "We're not going to put this guy on." I swear, because I was literally like third to last.
Yeah.
And when I got on and I finally did my set, like there was 20 people left. There had been like 200 people the start of that show, and so many bad comedians. I know so many mediocre comedians here, like me, that would do so well in Salt Lake City because, you know, the bar isn't that high. And also, do you know a guy named Akash Singh?
Yes, very well aware of Akash.
Yeah, he was on that.
Flagrant.
Yeah. So some local comedian in Salt Lake City during his set just started talking all this shit about Akash Singh. And I'm like, I'm the only person in this room who even knows who you're talking about. And I was like, there must be some sort of personal grudge that I really want to know more about. But yeah, no, it's other than that, I mean, there were some really good comics in
Yeah.
that area, and it's a good mix because it feels like some Mormons come out there to like let loose a little bit, like that we had one.
Well, you
guy
do
that-
know not all of Utah is Mormon.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah, and that's what it is. It's like you have the Mormons.
It's
that are-
just the easiest place to hide your wives.
yeah, there you go. But like I said, so you have the Mormons that are like kind of coming out to have a little bit of fun. They have club soda. They're laughing at the jokes. And then you have the complete opposite, which is like the crazy, like pierced nipple, smoking a joint, while inside kind of crazy.
And those people used to be Mormon for the
People-
most part, by the
yeah.
way.
People that look like Wes Brenner. All over Salt Lake City.
Okay. All right.
Shout out.
So one of my favorite Mormon stories is like Mormons, and I love y'all. You're part of my distant, non-related family, but there's always that one person in a Mormon family, because they have so many kids. The odds are there's always one. There is that one kid that grows up thinking he's rebellious. He becomes the most Mormon of all of them. And I got to tell you, on my high school football team, this guy, Kyle McGuire, only other dude that went D1 with me, but he went to
D1.
he went to Idaho State. Oh yeah, you asked that question. Division 1 means that you are part of 129 football schools that are in a part of the top in the NCAA.
129.
Yeah, I
I
believe
didn't
that's
even
what
know
it is.
there
It might
were-
be 131. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know if Northern Alabama is still going strong. Southern Alabama, I don't. Go Dragons, whichever.
It is crazy that how big college football is. It's still not that mainstream.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think you would get torn apart saying that. Here's the thing: you're a parent, so on Saturdays, like you have no idea. There's this whole world going on. You have no idea about because you didn't even. Again, this guy I brought out. I brought out this guy for the Oregon Spring
Yes.
game, and to perform at the
and if
Ranchito open mic.
If anybody doesn't know, Nick played for the Ducks, Oregon
Yeah.
Ducks.
Great.
He was offensive lineman,
Yeah,
Hall of Famer, and that's all we're gonna do.
I was on a Hall of Fame team as a
Yes.
backup to make it.
We're not here to
Fair.
boast about his career. He's a
No.
funny guy. He's here for comedy.
Oh God, dude, that's.
He's here for comedy, Darren.
You're lying to them more than saying I'm a Hall of Famer by saying I'm funny. Shit,
He's
I'm
he's-
trying to be another mediocre comedian like the ones you mentioned
He's a
yourself
comedian,
with before.
Chad. He's a comedian.
All right.
Not a fan. No. Shout out CKY.
Yeah. Well, Chad knows me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Keep going, because then we'll talk about.
Yeah. Now
CKY.
we're off topic. Now we're saying things that the audience won't know.
We went down to the game. Well, we went down.
We
to
were
Oregon.
at the Oregon Spring game.
Yeah.
Not this year, but last year.
Uh-huh.
With your feature tonight at Whiskey Mile.
Oh, Ishtiak Koreshi. I think
Yep.
I said that right.
Ishtiak. Yeah.
Hell
Wow.
yeah.
I think either of us saying it, we aren't great authorities on
Yeah.
that. But fantastic show, did really well. And the next day, neither of you wanted to come out to the actual Oregon Spring game. We had 40,000 people in attendance.
Wow.
I got free beer. I mean, this year I didn't only get free beer. I got all the free popcorn and peanut M&Ms and then whatever else I wanted. I felt like a goddamn rock star, and unfortunately didn't bring any comedians this time. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. Well, so let's break it down. When was the first time you went? Was 2 years ago. You brought Dino.
I mean, yeah. So when I got inducted into the Oregon Hall of Fame as a part of the 2010-11 team that went to the national championship, played Cam Newton and
I
Auburn.
lost my headphones. Keep
Uh-oh.
going.
Yep. You plug it in. So Oregon played Cam Newton and Auburn in that national
Cam
championship game.
Newton
That's-
from the Carolina Panthers.
That team got inducted.
Was he on the Panthers?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
See, I know something about football, guys,
Thank you.
but not anymore.
You're really helping
No.
this story by interjecting your minor points of sports knowledge. So I'll keep it short. The BYU game of that 2022 season.
Brigham Young University comes
Yeah.
back to the Mormons, people.
Exactly. It all ties in, and this will have a payoff. But we went there, and thank you to Ruben Cilio at the Ranchito Grill has put on a bunch of awesome meetups there and allowed me to perform stand-up comedy and produce shows down there. that have actually turned out really, really awesome. So we were there for the BYU game. Dino Dad was doing, 20 minutes? I was doing 15 and hosting. And it was such a good time. I got inducted to the Hall of Fame, but the one negative about the entire weekend is they gave us seats like up above the student section, and the student section got in a little bit of trouble because at some point during the game, we had a pretty good lead. Somebody started a chant going, "Fuck the Mormons."
Whoa.
And it went out. It was in
Get
headlines.
banned at certain comedy clubs for that kind of talk.
That could get you banned a lot of places in Capitol. You already know where it could get you banned. But I had so many people calling me going, "Nick, did you hear it?" And I said, "Nah, not only did I hear it, who do you think was standing above the student section starting that thing?" No, just.
And then he started to wave.
Just playing with you. But at the end of the day, my favorite part about that is my high school left guard, and then who eventually went to Idaho State. He played with one of our walk-ons that transferred to Oregon, and I had some good stories about him. And then it turned out the guy I played with for I think 17 of my starts at Oregon was my right guard was Mormon. And to this day, we still keep in contact, and we have these weird instances like we both called the Dan Patrick Show on the same day
Nice.
in like 2017 because he was talking something about Chip Kelly, our former coach.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we were literally caller one after another and echoing like almost the same sentiment. It just reminded me like playing with him in college, we knew without talking to each other the exact same thing we were looking at with a play, and whether we were going to double team, work together, work apart, we were always on the same page. And that's just one of those fucking weird things in football, and you sometimes see in comedy, that I love about that teamwork, people listening and playing off each other without actually having to have the audible cues.
That's pretty cool, man. It's pretty interesting how there's a lot of people that are younger than us that just do comedy, that just start doing comedy, but a lot of us kind of had these former, I don't know, career's not the right way of saying it, but like I used to play in a band. You used to, play football. There's guys that did music. There's other guys that did did comedy and they quit.
It helps to experience something first.
Yeah. But I think I love Eugene. I lived there for a little bit, for a few years here and there my whole life. I had an aunt that lived in Veneta, if you know where that is. Veneta. Fleck Road, shout out. Used to go to like the Oregon Country Fair.
Okay.
And if you guys don't know what the Oregon Country Fair is.
Oh my God. I'm going to put my glasses back on for this.
So the Oregon Country Fair, this thing has been going on since like the late 60s. And it's basically a hippie fair, but it's become so... I have learned there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff about the Oregon Country Fair that's very actually interesting if you love drama.
Yeah.
Because
it's kind of gone from the Ken Kesey idea to that weird place Burning Man's at now, right?
Yeah. So the fair started out as this thing where people come out, they camp, they make their own goods, they sell them, they have music, they dress up.
They have their tits out mostly.
Yeah. And there's certain rules. Like when you go there, you're not allowed to sell anything that's you bought at the store. Like you can't go buy a case of beer and sell beer there. You can't go there's like if you're selling a necklace, it better be the beads. You better be a necklace that you made yourself.
If you're selling a wallet, motherfucker, it better be made of your own pubes.
Yeah. And there are pube wallets there.
Sorry, anybody looking for a pube wallet? Sorry. I got one.
Yes.
Sorry, just trying to make business this
red,
season.
It's got some red hairs in it.
Whoa.
Right.
Maybe yours.
Yes.
I only dye my hairs red.
Yes. I have a leather mask, actually, that I got. That didn't sound good at all, did it?
We went from Comedy Simp to Comedy Gimp, just like...
Oh. Yeah, Nick is the one who created the Comedy Simp name.
No. I feel like with Tapped Out, I can't take full responsibility. Both of those things came from me and Rob Conroy heckling you, I feel like. And the comedy scene. Like, it was I don't think I came up with Comedy Simp on myself. Like, I
Okay.
feel like me and Rob were riffing, and I said it out loud, and I was like, it feels like something we should just keep to ourselves. But I'm going to tell Steven.
Yeah. Well, now it's become its own entity. And
An identity, my friend.
yeah.
You live the gimmick, man. I'm just trying.
I just try to, one of these nights when me and Rob were on some different chemicals, we had some deep conversations, and one thing he said that really made a lot of sense. He's like, dude, you used to be in a band, and you just like want to help everybody out because they're like you in your band or something. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I do, and it's like, it's lonely at the top. So bring everybody with you is what I think. So, and ultimately, I see what some of these bigger name comedians do, and they all share each other's stuff and they promote each other, and it's very helpful. Like, I have friends that don't give a damn about Seattle comedy. They couldn't care, but because I'm in it and I tell them about people that they should check out, they might be following you. They might be following PJ. They might be following Rob, like, just because I'm like, dude, hey, if these guys are cool, check them out. Maybe come out to a show. And I know that I've convinced people that wouldn't normally go out to a comedy show to go to a comedy show. And that's what it's all
dude,
about.
undoubtedly, man. The work that you've done for people, whether people know it or not,
No.
the advertisements, the just your creative mind in terms of comedy, and not just on the stage but outside and creating other revenue opportunities, man. You're a step ahead of the game, and more people. You don't need to share that secret with everybody. Just put it out there. But a lot of people appreciate you, man. I hope all the audience appreciates this motherfucker.
Well,
if not, I don't know why you're still tuned in this late into the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, shout out Andrew. There's this guy Andrew in California that's like, he watches every episode when it premieres, because he works at a casino. So like during the day, if it airs at like 8 o'clock in the morning or noon, he will watch it as it's premiering.
Well, shout out to you, Andrew, and go and follow at Nick Cody Comedy on YouTube, Nick R Comedy,
I was like,
or Nick R Cody on other
gotta be careful
platforms.
what we say right now.
I mean, I'm very careful. Most people aren't as well trained as I am with avoiding that. But yeah, Nick R Cody on all your social media platforms except YouTube, which Nick Cody Comedy is going to be your best bet.
So, have you ever thought about there being another comedian named Nick Cody? I mean, I know you've thought about it, but like, have you thought about like, what if you start making a name for yourself?
I thought I should get knighted and I should be Sir Nicholas Cody because it's got that fucking ring to it. Yeah, unfortunately, most of the thought process I've done about thinking about an Australian Nick Cody that's already in comedy and radio is trying to write jokes about it instead of like an actual good solution. Otherwise, dude, the funny thing is he followed me first.
Well,
he followed me when I was in college football, and I was a bigger name than him. Now he's a bigger name than me, vice versa. Now he ain't responding to my motherfucking DMs. So I asked him, hey, you want me to change my name? Going into comedy, whatever. And that was, it was in jest. It's not a serious thing, obviously. But now my ego's high enough. I go back, I look at that email. It's serious now, bro. Go back and check it on your email, man.
Check it now. I just got my beard stuck in the microphone.
I'm just proud of you for actually having a beard, Stephen Michael James.
Dude, the problem is if I was to ever shave this off, I would look like I'm as young as Sage Cameron.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the hair is not helping.
God,
the hair looks like some albino pubes right now.
Very true. I'm really excited for new season of House of the Dragon.
All right.
Yeah, that was a joke that didn't go over very well. I was going to say, there was actually something that I was going to say that had a point, but I guess I lost it, But yeah, now we're here, Whiskey Mile.
I mean, I still agree. I don't think you needed to bail on the joke that soon. I think you definitely have that Targaryen blood, except for the confidence.
Well, I have that Targaryen blood because I had a child with my sister. No, just kidding.
All right.
That's why my kid has special needs.
Oh, shit. I'm just glad, man. I'm just glad I don't have kids
That's
because
terrible.
there would be too many reasons pinned on me for their special
Yeah.
needs.
What? Here, let's do an experiment.
All right.
Let's see.
I love experiments. Here, hold on. Let me unzip.
No.
Oh. No.
In Seattle comedy, if we had if we had to make a movie about a Seattle comic that has to babysit a child for a full day, and it would be an entertaining comedy movie, which comic should that movie be about?
Who is the person babysitting and who's the baby? Do we have to pick both?
The comic gets stuck with a baby for a day and has to watch it, and hijinks happen.
Yeah, I would say
Somebody who shouldn't have a baby. Who would be a great movie?
Yeah, I would actually give PJ the baby, and the baby would be Felix. So, I mean, deep cuts. Sorry if you guys don't follow multiple Seattle comedy podcasts, but yeah, I think that's the best possible answer I have. PJ, and then Felix has to be the baby.
Well,
or David in he has twins, Felix and David.
Oh God, how did he get Mexican babies?
You already know because those Latina girls, man. They
do it.
Pump them out.
Absolutely. Well, I'm trying to be better, but I am from California, so there is some truth to that. There is some truth.
I mean, you didn't say anything negative. Pin that on me. I'll take the blame.
Yeah. Well, is that really a negative thing to say?
No.
People have a lot of babies. Is that a bad thing?
I mean, in Japan,
I guess if they can't take care of them, that's a bad thing. But if you're just having a lot of babies,
in China,
Elon Musk seems to think that we need people, that we're underpopulated,
and we don't even need to give them actual names.
Yeah, no, just numbers and dots,
signs. Yeah, the next kid's gonna just be straight emojis.
So, I think I would like to see a movie about Marcus Cruz stuck with a baby for a day. Like some really hot girls like, hey Marcus, I need you to watch my kid for the day, and then this is like an episode of Frasier actually. Where I'll be back, and then
you couldn't do a movie. Sorry, Cruz, I love you. You can't do a movie with Cruz when he can't be on set all day. Like every 20 minutes, he's like, man, I got to get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
Yeah, what happened to the Cruz podcast, man? Where is that? We're waiting for episode 3 or 4.
Again, and the fact there is one, and I haven't been on it. Cruz, come on, man. Come on.
Let's see. I want to see a movie where oh God, no. I was going to say John Banning has a kid. No.
In a world no other, where John Banning comes out and offends another black comedian so much by saying no one's listening to that.
I just got a better idea. How about a movie about John Banning and PJ where they battle on who could be the most offensive comedian in Seattle?
John Banning,
Pierce
PJ
Jacobs.
Coming this summer to a place you will never want to hear it. Somewhere where these two white polar bear motherfuckers will fight off who can disinterest the most people in comedy in one sitting.
Featuring special appearances by the Big Funny.
I love
Lil Cheesy Weezy.
Oh, man.
The son of Abraham.
Oh, no.
And the comedy Hobbit.
Oh, man. I'm not going
to. Oh, and music by Juggalo Jake.
This is going to be one of those where you bleep everybody, right?
No. Keeping them all in.
Oh. Well, respect. If you guys are even on our
the thing is,
the people we don't remember, honestly, the ones that are kind of like the worst sets.
There's so many great comedians that we could shout out, but I want to shout out the people that don't get recognition.
I thought that's why we're here.
Yes.
Like, I thought this isn't like trying to become mediocre comedians
and
podcast.
Who else? I need another person to shout out. Joe Ekstrom. He's cool.
I guess if we're just shouting out dudes, I guess you can go and shout out all the dudes you want.
Oh, here's a dude right here.
Oh, shit. Hey!
We got a bodybuilder that just showed up here. Yeah. Oh, look at he just ditches us for the
we-
girl, of course.
What we need
right?
is audience builders, not bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to get a different body count up.
We need Bob the Builder.
No,
We-
anyways.
we need to infiltrate, destroy, and rebuild her.
Oh, okay. All right. Making mention of CKY
Yeah.
now, finally.
See, you're wearing the old CKY shirt.
Only, you always inspire it. You find your ways as a fellow CKY fan.
Well, the thing is, it's weird that they're not. I mean, they are a popular band, but they're
Tread lightly,
not.
motherfucker.
They're not. They're not mainstream. I don't think.
I mean,
and-
they haven't been since 2000, since Viva La Bam was fucking
But
mainstream.
the fact is, it's weird. Both me and you, we both are like kind of super fans of them because I mean, when I was young, I mean, you know.
You got to be careful saying shit like super fan, though.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say am anymore, but like back in the, I mean, look, dude, I got this. I got this fucking tattoo.
I got you. Yeah, foreign objects.
You
I
know,
feel you.
like, so I'm all in for that.
I got you.
But yeah, that's
I mean, I got a tramp stamp that says Chad I. Ginsberg, and nobody gives me credit for that.
Let's see it. No, that's gonna be on the Patreon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to pay extra for that.
Yes. If I get 100 subscribers, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my gooch.
Well, here, funny random story. You saw it, but random people going and saying like they've been a CKY fan for 17 years.
Oh, dude,
makes me laugh so hard because
That's
it's
the best.
2024. I've literally I saw them on Warped Tour accidentally in Portland, like 1999 or 2000. So that makes it at least 24 years, and that's an accidental fan. And then I'm on the CKY Alliance board from like Infiltrate, Destroy, Rebuild, that 2002 on. Like, always lifelong fan. And then you got somebody out here saying, I had to do the math and be like 17 years. You've literally been around for 2 of their album releases and not 2 of the albums I'm a huge fan. Like, I love the Phoenix. I really enjoy it. New direction. Can't wait to see, this year or later when they, have the payoff to that and the next follow-up to that. But, dude, the Carver City album was a dark time.
Yeah. Well, they were a fun band. You know, the thing is, like, they just, it was just all, like, the right place, the right time. Like, people who are into skateboarding got these videos, they heard the music. The music was actually really good and interesting, very different than a lot of the stuff that was playing at the time.
Yep.
And I was along for the ride, like, to see this band rise and become a big band. Like, I think every kid, teenager kind of gets one that, especially if you're a musician, you're like, I cannot pick one favorite band. But there's usually like 1 or 2 bands that you kind of hang on to for a long time because you just like them and you identify with them. And
just the earworms, the catchiness of that band.
And that one was just like, it really made me, I don't know if like the in particular it made me feel this way, but like to not worship musicians and look up to musicians and just realize that they're just people. Because to see like these real people go through these real struggles of financially or drugs or infighting or disappointed, like it's, as a fan, you really get a reality check when the person that you're going to see says into the microphone, man, there's not a lot of people here. Chad.
and I mean, like, the whole thing, like, we have a different perspective now as comics, but, when you're just strictly a music fan, that's such, like, you have such a harsh reaction, like, oh, they fucking suck, fuck that.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't even actually take that moment to understand, is the music good, or are they good or not? Is this just them not connecting on a different level? And you realize comedy is a lot of the same. I've heard people with good jokes that just don't fucking connect with the general audience because they didn't warm up to that joke. They didn't get them on the same page. There's all kinds of ways for it. But it's interesting now, the perspective I have, that those years I saw, CKY stutter and especially, like when Darren was going through it and being voice gone and on that Carver City tour, I saw him in Portland in 2009. And I brought some football teammates with me and was like, oh, I love these guys. I've met them before. Like, and promised the world. And then it was a really disappointing show. And I just remember a couple of my friends at the end of the night being like, yeah, it was cool. We got to hang out with Chad and, you know, a couple of it. But, dude, it was a sign that things were going rough. And the biggest sign was that, you know, lead singer isn't going to get out of his trailer for whatever reason. And it's like your connection with the audience is so important. If you're just going to decide that your art and whatever you wanted to put out there is better than the audience thinks it is, you're in deep trouble. Because you're just going to isolate yourself from that audience. And that was something I realized from that point with Darren and CKY that, like, I wasn't interested anymore. Like, when they finally got rid of him, or even when they took their hiatus, I was, like, stoked because it was, like, literally the guy just didn't accept that maybe, you know, we've heard this shit. Or even don't want to hear the new ideas that came out in Carver City. So after that, it was wild.
And just so all the people who want to know what we're talking about, just to break it down really quick, Jackass was a show back in MTV. Everybody remembers.
Well, before Jackass,
before
had the multiple movies, but
the guy from Jackass, Bam Margera, he had these videos before Jackass. His brother was the drummer in a band. He used that band's music as his soundtrack to his videos. The band started to kind of rise as he started to rise, and unfortunately, due to many circumstances and poor sales and things like that, the lead front man and the other guy split apart, and it's never really been cordial since. It's always been a lot of animosity, and there's it split the fan base a little bit, but I think, to be honest with you, it feels like the majority of the fan base supports CKY, the guys that still carry the name, and that the former creative force seems to be losing fans as time goes on, just because of some things that he's done behind the scenes, and he's kind of ripped some people off and done some
There's again,
if you go on Reddit,
and the Alliance Underground podcast, formerly rest in peace Tony, but we used to go back in all on that for 3 episodes that are still available out there, but not worth the time. Ultimately, it's just the interesting thing to me is that the band is still out there. They're still getting gigs, and like they even just performed on a festival in front of, like, you know, a massive crowd. But the ultimate thing is it reminds me in comedy, it's like connect with your audience no matter how big or small, because those people will remember and they'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it was for me. I mean, there's a very few bands that I still check in with over time, and they're one of those bands that maybe every few months I'll just say, like, I wonder if they got anything going on, they have any shows. I will, because it's always been fun. I mean, I saw them in 2003. You know, basically their peak. You know. And I saw him in 2005, and then I saw him in 2009, and then I saw him in 2018 and 2017. So, like, you know, I got to kind of see all the eras, and, you know, they made a big impression on me. You know, kind of, you know, certain things form your sense of humor. Yeah. And obviously a lot of people who know those CKY videos know, like, you know, it's very crude, kind of male-oriented humor.
And they knew they were part of humor because, look, Rab himself is the one person to put George Carlin's who takes a shit at full speed into actual physical presentation.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're awesome band, and it's nice to see that they're still going around. Especially that, like, there's so many bands quit. Like, this is not a good example, but I just saw, like, Godsmack is like, we're done. We're not doing any more tours. This is our final tour. And it's like,
Sully, come on. Like, you have anything better to do.
Straight out of line. A lot of bands, they're calling it quits. I mean, I talked to Jeff, who was here earlier, and he had a band in the mid-2000s that was signed, and it's a struggle. And I just can't even imagine what it's like these days. Like, especially...
You're a comic. You can imagine.
Yeah.
There's just more money involved.
Well, and maybe it's because of where we are in Washington, but rock-oriented music, punk, emo, metal. You know, metal might be the only thing that still seems to be semi-popular around here as far as guitar music.
And it's only in clubs.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's not in the arena side.
I just don't think guitar music is really...
Tough.
it's gonna be the future.
But,
I think it's getting like, you know how there's like people who still do blues and people who still do jazz. I think there's always gonna be people that are doing like punk and stuff like that. But I just don't.
Yeah, the guitar's become an unfortunate aesthetic that is a part of the lead. Like, it feels like more and more you see people that are the lead guitarist and they're playing backing parts.
Yeah.
And they're not, you know, the main rhythm person is again, this even going back to CKY when they were 4-piece. It's like you realize that there is that fucking weird balance of like what's really getting over with the audience. Is it that person that's, you know, really that really kicks ass to the guitar? No, it's always going to be the front person.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, Darren, I mean, I've seen him perform many times, and it's like, when I was a kid, I really identified with that, like, the depressed artist, and everybody else is having a good time, and I'm Mr. Serious. But
you're the guy in a horror-themed version of Donnie Darko. That's what I always got out of his lyrics.
Yeah.
Psychotic, dress the senseless feature.
Yeah. But as I got older, it's like, you know, I'm just so appreciative to be out and to be watching a band. I just want to have fun. I don't want to like feel sad and feel bad. I don't want this guy to like, I don't want this guy's energy, like, I don't want this guy to put his energy on me. So like, I really don't like seeing bands that have any like negative energy, like, you know.
So you're saying the shock and terror doesn't keep you sane?
It used to.
Right? Dude, it really was like for an era there, they felt in the pocket, right? Probably for us growing up at the time. But there was, again, everything they transitioned to out of that felt, again, the spacing between albums did not help. An answer can be found coming like, you know, 5 years after, you know, Infiltrate, Destroy, Rebuild.
That's
fucking killed whatever momentum they had.
I had this huge, like, and I don't know shit about anything. I just know I'm a music fan. It's just like when I give people my honest opinion about comedy, I don't really know. I just know I've consumed a lot, and I've seen what's successful and what's not. And, like, for the longest time, there was, like, the biggest bands, they would wait 3, 4, 5 years to come out with albums, and like that's a long gap, and that's why I started to get into like punk and stuff, because it's like every 2 years another album, you know, every 2, you know, and I just like attention spans, and now it's still like that. Like some of these bigger artists, they want to tour the world 3 times, and
I mean, in some cases they have to.
Yeah.
That's the demand.
Oh, like Taylor Swift and all that.
Well, I mean, even that, like, I think in a smaller sense, there are, especially as you say, rock and metal bands, there are people that get way more out of touring outside of the U.S. than in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which, thank God, hopefully changes soon. Fuck you, Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Live Nation. Government's finally coming after you, except if it's like anything else the government comes after, you guys will get a fine you can easily pay off with all the money you've jacked up already.
Yeah, I don't like, and this is even like when I saw Tony Hinchcliffe recently, like I'm just trying to stay away from big venues because I don't really like I like more intimate experiences. Like I haven't been to many other venues besides El Corazon, but like I just like that size or maybe something a little bit bigger.
I know
than
you're
that.
scared away from the Autzen Spring Game experience. Too.
I'm gonna go. I actually would no joke. Like I think when me and you and Ish were down there, maybe you didn't think that you were that big of a deal, and then you went to the game and everybody's like, "Hey Nick, sign my football," and then now you're Mr. like on the field every time now. You and Polar Bear.
I mean, whenever I'm there, it's kind of like it's not something I expect, but it's always something I fall into.
Yeah.
Like I just show up being thankful they let me still into the buildings.
Yeah.
And then when people recognize me, but again, it is true. Like my confidence down there is a different level.
Yeah. Well, I want to do some more stuff in Eugene. My brother's got a store.
Yeah.
Shout out Goshen Market.
Shout out to your brother, dude.
Goshen.
Awesome
Joe Davis.
Dude. Awesome family.
He's actually loves comedy too. So if you guys are doing comedy in Eugene, hit me up and I will let him know and he'll go watch. So
And get down to Fridays at the Twisted Duck.
Well,
dude.
yeah, no, that's what to say. There's been some mics that have been going on in Eugene. There's a new comedy club.
Olsen Run?
Did you have a
didn't
lot
get-
of experience down there with the comedy scene last time? Or?
So it literally just got the opportunity to go and check up with my friends at Twisted Duck. Nathan was hosting again. Love Nathan. Got him for I think not the show you were hosting, but I've had him feature on my Tapped Out shows before. But again, I love Twisted Duck. It's out there, literally a couple blocks away from where I had my very first apartment, getting out of the dorms in Eugene. So right there next to Autzen Stadium. Go out there, Centennial Boulevard, Twisted Duck. Let's get that promo out there. And somebody needs to set a fat taco record on their Taco Tuesday, because I'm coming in to beat that motherfucker pretty soon. I'm telling you, I'm going to eat like 40 tacos at this place. But
40.
But every Friday, go check out their comedy there or their prime rib special. They've obviously got great meat specials right there next to the butcher shop. So always go out, and their comedy sign-ups start at 8:30. Show starts at 9.
Actually, let's. What are some of the best places to eat in Eugene? Because I gotta tell you, man, I was a really big fan of
Chiba Hut.
Chiba Hut. Absolutely, and I think they have one up here, right in Seattle somewhere, right?
They did start a University District Chiba Hut. It sponsored one of the Shroom Room shows at the Shanghai. So shout out Chiba Hut again. Now that the NCAA is allowing NIL, name, image, and likeness, I'd just like to reach out to Chiba Hut and let you know I did years of promo for you guys in Eugene that, I don't need an NIL deal, but just a deal with a free sandwich once in a while. It'd pay off. But otherwise, Chiba Hut, my favorite sandwiches. If you're in Eugene, if you're a student especially, you're near campus, it's Chiba Hut and Doko. Doko is all calzones. Imagine anything you want in a calzone: breakfast calzone, lunch calzone, dinner calzone.
Jesus.
Or forget all of that, get their baked cookies and ice cream.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love that place.
Just imagine eating all your meals in a pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And, little trip for
I'm in the zone.
Little-
The cow zone.
little trip around the corner from when I'd stay for Mad Dog Mondays with my friends at the Hilliard house. We would walk around and wait until all the NBA games were over and go check the Doko garbage. And in there, they would get some of the orders that were never picked up. Late at midnight, they're going to throw them in the dumpster, but they're still in the garbage can or trash bag.
I thought you were going to say, we just drank a bunch of Mad Dog.
We did. Well, the only reason it seems as sanitary is because you've drinking the Mad Dogs. I felt like that was a necessary prefix. But you go out there and, So once we figured that out, we'd start placing calzone orders in the third quarter. Never pick them up. And they're, all right, cool. They're right in the dumpster out back. Hilliard House. You're welcome. You can pay me directly once a duck on Cash App or Venmo.
Damn. Dude, we have been talking for an hour already.
I know.
No comics have showed up yet. I'm really disappointed.
We probably scared them all away.
Yes, we did. I know. I'm like, are we having a mic tonight? I don't see anybody yet, but that's okay. Do you got anything coming up? Any shows? Any tapped out? Anything like that?
Nothing in the books right now. Always be on the lookout at Tapped Out Comedy on all your social medias.
Yeah.
I am reformatting the show. If you're a comic or you're an audience member, please stay tuned. If you're interested, there will be updates to come. Looking to change the format a little bit and give a little more fair opportunities. Because I again, you get in that set where you're rebooking the same people. I want to give a fresh new opportunity, fresh new perspective to comedy.
Yeah, well, you've been doing. Everybody kind of thinks of you as a comedy producer. I mean, you're a great comic too. But you do this stuff at Peace of Mind, and you're a host at the Shanghai Room, and you put on a lot of stuff. You've done tapped out shows with Rob Conroy, kind of co-producing. You've done like Out of Left Field, Comedy Code Breakers,
and still haven't been funny
yeah.
once. I'm trying. I'm trying.
But since you said you're reformatting and stuff like that, you have any idea, any hints on like what you want to do in the future? Like that'll be different?
Yeah, no, Code Breakers and Out of Left Field Out of Left Field might change, but Code Breakers will be pretty similar moving forward. I'm just thinking in terms of tapped out. I do want to give people more time that are asking for more time. So, everybody feels like they've got their solid 5, but I want to give people their opportunity to do 10, 15, 20, and hopefully still captivate the audience for a full 2 hours. And that's tricky because it narrows down, like, we got to have more people that know that their 5, 10 is good, and the people that know that they have 30. And I have to go and spend the time doing the research, or I've seen the people that we've experienced, and then even then there's that bias there where I'm like, I need to go out and see more.
Yeah. Well, I just hear that JoJo Blacko can do an hour.
I'm pretty sure I've booked JoJo for an hour already. Like, that's my problem. I'd book JoJo for an entire, I think in all the times I've booked JoJo, it's probably over an hour now.
And I've also heard Danny Anderson can do 25 minutes, and I'd like to see that, Danny.
Oh, wow. That sounds like
It's
a challenge.
Oh,
We're cutting promos now?
Yeah.
Oh, we're cutting promos now.
Well, they've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. First of all, I want to do a wrestling podcast with JoJo and Nick. Maybe once a week. Or no. Once a month. We'll just check in on the wrestling world. Oh, wow. Is this Carole?
Uh-oh.
Wow. A comedian has showed up. Hey, you want to get in?
Yeah.
For a few minutes? We're about to wrap it up.
You should probably state that
Look,
more.
I have
yeah,
a
we are
microphone.
definitely live. All right,
All right.
jump in here. Cannonball!
All right.
Don't flash a microphone in front
So
of my
is it-
face.
is it
it's
Car-
not even on, is it?
Is it Carole?
It is Carole.
Steven,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Well, you have 3 names.
Yes,
Oh, wait.
Steven.
Hey, I do too.
And this is Nick. Do you know Nick? No.
Yeah,
No, I've never seen Nick
I've
before.
never seen her before in my life.
Really? I don't know.
It's not true.
Oh.
That's why he's not making eye contact. It's really weird
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it's on. I'm listening.
Is it? Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
He's
We're-
not making eye contact either. It's just less awkward because he still has his
Yeah.
glasses on.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Well, that's the thing is my podcast. You're gonna wear sunglasses, but we're running out here. So,
I left him at home.
well, that's okay. I got extras. Whatever you want. But anyways, we've been talking for an hour here outside Whiskey Mile. And this is your first time here, so.
Well, I don't know how long this has been here, but I used to live in those apartments right over there 20-ish years ago. Like when I was a baby. My mom raised me over there, and I met a dude at this, what is this, Garden
Yeah, it's
Mile
the Garden.
something? The Garden Mile next door?
The Jade Garden. I don't know. They all have the same name, right?
Yeah, it's bringing back memories.
Yeah. So you do comedy. How long you been doing comedy, Carole?
About 6.5 years.
Yeah, 6.5. And you're pretty funny.
That's funny. Why do guys always
No,
ask
I-
that? Yeah. Are you
why
funny?
do people assume I'm a guy?
They're like, tell me a joke. Are you funny? And I'm like, I don't know. Where are we broadcasting right now?
Carole, if it's not a date, that's the only place we can ask that question.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
to-
I have a comeback though. I don't know where we're broadcasting. If I can ask
Well,
this
no,
or not.
this is going to be everywhere.
Okay.
It's not it's not live. It's pre-recorded. So.
So
who
when
knows?
guys are like, "Are you funny? Tell me a joke. Make me laugh." And I'm like, "All right, well, give me an orgasm. No, right now. Oh, you need some warm up. You need some like dim lights and things. You need some context. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Well,
I usually need more lighting.
the thing is, I would get in trouble for that if I tried to do that.
Oh,
So,
Why are you sitting so close to me right now? This
Yeah.
is really weird.
yeah,
Because I'm fat. I'll spoil it for you.
Well,
He's literally like, you're too fat. You sit over there. I'll put the other chair over on the other side.
Well, both need a little more lubrication too.
Wow.
Sometimes it's alcoholic, and sometimes it's
Sweating.
silicone.
Oh,
All right.
different
So-
S words.
Been doing comedy 6 years, all here in Seattle area.
No.
No, you're new to here.
No.
No.
Also no. Keep
Okay.
going. What other questions you got?
Who
It's
are
a
your
podcast. I'm just gonna answer yes or no.
Who are your best friends in the comedy scene?
My best friends? Oh my God! Like which comedy scene?
Your best comedy friends in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. In Seattle, like literally in Seattle right now,
Seattle-
or in the Seattle metro,
You're like
county Tacoma.
You're like Seattle. Do they have to be best?
Yeah.
No, just anybody that.
Can you draw me a map?
Do you want to
'Cause
give
I-
anybody a shout out who does comedy?
Well, Sherry Hardman,
Sherry's awesome, great
Yeah.
podcast.
Simon Kaufman. I'll also give a shout
Simon,
out. Simon's
hell
fucking
yeah.
amazing.
Hell yeah.
There's so many though. I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to make people feel bad. I mean, this Nick guy, he's pretty great. He's
He's all right.
booked me on a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A thing. That's the best description you could give
A lot
it
of
to.
the people that I know in comedy in Seattle, though, have moved away. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a hard question.
That makes sense.
Well, that's because they're moving on to better things.
It is
We're-
true. It is
we're
true.
stuck here.
I came back to worse things. So
I'm stuck in my. Well, I talked about this on the last one. I'm stuck in my 3.375 interest rate, so I can't go anywhere.
Acre what?
3.375 interest rate. on my
I
house.
love
Interest
I,
rate.
I, I, lo- I love
I can't
that as
sell
he
my
shout.
house.
I love that as he shouts it out. He throws the wedding ring up.
I thought this was a child joke. Like I have an average of 3.75
No.
children, so I
No.
can't leave the Seattle area.
We're,
'cause
we're not allowed to do child jokes within a certain vicinity of school
Yeah,
grounds.
yeah. We've been talked about.
You're far enough away in this area that there's a school over there. There's
Shit.
one up there. You're fine. You're fine. This is far enough away.
So, what brought you out here tonight? Like, what made you just did the flyer just entice you? Like, this flyer looks professional. I'm gonna check this place out. Or have you heard things? Has anybody said anything?
I haven't heard
Is
things.
the word out? What's the word on the street?
No, I actually, in order to do comedy on the road full time, I've been trying out something called, this is a plug, non-paid sponsor right now. I've been trying out something called Trusted House Sitters, and it's pet sitting in exchange for free Airbnbs.
Oh wow, Andy
But-
Harder's gonna be all over that.
But it's nicer places than Airbnbs because it's like rich people that can afford to travel all over the world, and it's not just exclusively Airbnb units. So they're actually really nice houses. So I'm in a place that's not even a mile away from here, and it's a really great house. And so
You
I
heard
look
about
up.
it.
I'd seen some posts about it because I used to live. So I came up in the Seattle scene. I lived in Redmond for like 13 years. Seattle 27, went to Phoenix for 3 years. I've been back up here in the area about 6 or 8 months. And I'd seen some posts about it, but before, pre-pandemic, there was no comedy on the east side.
No.
Comedy on the east side. So it stood out. I was like, Kirkland, I didn't realize where this was. I was thinking it was like Rose Hill area because that's where stuff had been before.
Yeah.
So
So you're really telling me there's pre-negotiated squatting out there? Like that's what this sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I might quit paying rent.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, there's more to it than that. You can't get, like, most of them aren't going to be a month. They're usually like a week-ish, a weekend or a week or something like that. So you gotta stagger it a little bit. And
What if I'm willing to do slave labor?
they do. The nice thing is it is an annual fee to join the site, but they
I
do
got
it-
to be a slave for a year?
They do.
No.
You don't have to do it a year. They do a background check on you. There's insurance. that
Oh,
covers you and
fuck.
the pets.
I'm out.
Yeah, right. Well,
Your pets too?
yeah. Well,
No,
something happens.
background check, guys. That's where I'm in.
Yeah,
trouble.
background check. I slid under the wire, so it's good.
Oh, shit. Oh, come on. No one's checking your background.
Are you saying I look like no one needs to check
I'm
my
saying,
background?
I'm saying, like, literally, we brought you on to this podcast
you're
with
like-
no
Yeah.
nerve. He didn't even know who you were.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I-
just have that trusting look.
I
This
was
guy
like-
brought you on a podcast, and he didn't even know you're a comedian.
No, he,
No, I did. I seen her.
He
but I-
recogni- he
I
recognized
was like,
me.
but I was like, I think I know her. But
Yeah, no,
Um,
she looks vaguely like her profile
she looks
picture.
like
If
she's
we squint
funny.
a lot,
We will
squint a
review
lot.
the tape.
Yeah.
We will review the
Yeah.
tape. Even underneath those glasses, you could still probably see him being like, I don't know her.
I said this podcast needs.
Give me your duck glasses for a minute because
These aren't duck glasses. These are, in fact, more Seattle glasses than duck
Oh,
glasses,
okay.
but
Well,
duck colors.
This is just for one of my sisters because she's a duck.
Right.
I did go to Oregon State for a
Oh.
couple of years. Couple of years.
No.
I didn't
We
graduate.
don't talk about
It was
that.
a long time ago.
No, it's
we're
cool
supposed to
now.
rotate glasses here.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I got different ones.
Dude.
These are my ska glasses.
Ska.
Yeah, you know. That's my impression of the horn section. Anyways,
I was going to make fun of ska, but you did it
yeah,
yourself.
there you go.
Speaking of, give me an instant
Well, you're-
orgasm.
I remember Bam Margera had this thing where he went to somebody at a concert and he's like, "Hey, you guys like ska?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "That shit sucks."
Isn't that the stuff that animals leave in the woods?
Which kind?
There's-
Well,
that shitty music is what I'm talking about.
yeah. Hey,
I don't know if a bear can shit out that many
Less
horns.
Than Jake is pretty awesome. I gotta say. Anyways,
Less than Jake. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. hell
Is this
yeah.
a music podcast I came into?
This
I'm
is-
gonna get out of here now.
We do. Oh my God! There's another comedian, Young Sage.
Am I missing the sign up list? I'm gonna have to go
Disguise,
last now.
disguised as a travel guide.
Sign Carole up. So I just want to break down this for you a little bit.
I actually saw they had fried mushrooms. That's why I'm here.
There you go.
Break it down.
This open mic, I think, was pretty much started at the end of the year, beginning of the year. Beginning.
So, like,
the
we're
end of,
we're
the end
traveling
of,
back in time. It's
yes,
starting the end of this
no,
year.
No, I'm just telling you the history here. Like, it started towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. This guy named Sam, he started it. He was a local
Sam.
bar patron. And he started inviting people out to do comedy. He used to date a girl that did comedy, so he knew some people. And then, he died, unfortunately.
Okay.
Like a month and a half ago.
Of laughter?
No,
okay.
no, it's just sad.
We'd like to hope.
It was an unfortunate accident, and he's no longer here. So,
I've had some of those, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
So.
Me and Jordan, who's another comedian, decided, like, hey, we're going to keep doing this here. We're going to pull all of our talents together and try to invite people and somehow entice people like yourself to come out here. And this is it.
I want to point out the grammar. Did anyone else notice that he said he wanted to pull all of our talents together?
Yes.
Do you also say supposedly? Like.
Oh, if you want to go back on the Comedy Simp podcast and go ahead and review it for articulation
really
and grammar.
Well, it should be pool our talents, not pull our talents together.
I mean,
I
don't even know what I just said.
Put them into one big
I didn't even know I said
anybody that wants to spend their day pulling my talents, I'm going to let them do it.
Yeah. That's a big job. All right, we're going to need
Oh, hey.
You're overestimating.
Wait a minute, Nick Single?
Very. For comments like that. Very.
I don't know. He's got
a big pool and a smaller pole.
The first guy asking to get pulled is usually very single.
I was gonna say he's got himself a little angel at the Just Chill.
Which one?
One of the cats in the house.
I can't remember what her name is.
Whichever one's bringing me the nest space dust. That's the answer.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I actually got to go to the bathroom, and we've been talking for over an hour. You got anything you want to
promote? There's an empty glass right there.
That's
you got anything you want to promote? You got any shows coming up?
I do. I don't know when this is going to go out, but
it's going to go up on this weekend. I'll post it this weekend. So
actually, I produce some shows out in Port Angeles, Washington.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Bourbon West is downtown and right on the waterfront. It's a beautiful location.
I've never been there.
You should come out. So I've got one coming up on May 31st, which is about a week from when we're actually recording this right now.
So it'll come out. People still have time to buy tickets. I'll put the link in the description.
And then after that, once a month we've got
there he
Crispin.
is, the
Oh my God.
feature.
Oh, that's not Crispin. Never
Come
mind.
on, just come over here.
I couldn't see you.
I am laughing even harder now.
Just come say hi real quick.
I had glasses on. I'm sorry I couldn't recognize you. Also, June 22nd, another show, and they've got one in July and August, September. So follow me, Carole Freeman Comedy.
Yeah.
You definitely look more like Crispin with these.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And especially over there, I'm nearsighted. Yeah, but I'm nice to meet you.
We're in 4K too. You know, just that's just for you.
I love that you want to talk to shit on him for the way he was speaking and the way that just went out.
Whoa.
Karma, man, karma.
See, I'm gonna lean into this. I should do jokes about this, but I'm neurodivergent.
Oh man,
I have ADHD, so I can interrupt. I don't have to follow.
So
what
does
you're
my
saying.
daughter.
Yeah,
that's
I can
awesome.
just be like, and I can't see you. I'm kind of blind as well.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm just nearsighted.
And
lazy. I don't want to wear glasses.
I blame my CTE for a lot of shit too. I get it.
I've had 2 of those, so yeah.
You've had 2 CTEs?
This has been a great episode, people.
I didn't know you could count them.
And dementia runs in my family, so if I can't remember anything, sorry.
So Carole's here tonight. She's going to kill it. You got all of our social media. Nick,
I'm here. I might kill myself.
Our Cody.
Oh no, you have to bleep that out because they will cancel that.
Every Thursday here at the Whiskey Mile in Kirkland, we do open mic comedy.
That's Washington State, by the way, for you.
5-minute sets for the comedians, and then we have a feature every week, double feature at the end of every month. And
not Crispin, by the
way.
Only 3 minutes for Carole.
We just want to invite all of the people out that want to have fun and do good and have a good time. You know what I mean?
It's already 8 p.m. What the hell you guys are doing?
Wait,
what?
Take a picture of me with these guys so I can prove
Yeah.
I was on a really important podcast today. Oh, look at him with the bad
Look at
angle.
that.
All right, let me pull my pants up a little bit.
Stephen Michael James.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I mean, that's.
Does it look good though? Did
It's
you
ideal.
actually take
Yeah.
a picture?
Yeah.
Oh my god, let me get my
I'm
hair
sure
out
with all the.
This is gonna be the background of the. This will be the. What is it called? The band. I
the
don't know.
banner. I don't
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean.
I'm
The.
gonna see if he's married or not.
All right, guys. Well, you all missed a great time, but me and Ish are gonna be at Bad Bar Comedy June 15th. One day we're gonna get. Oh, there's Mike DeVore. We're gonna get a flyer eventually from Mitch Shop.
Fired as
And,
photographer.
Guys, come out to Whiskey Mile. Hit me up.
He's lying.
Yeah. Awesome.
It
All
wouldn't
right.
shock me at this point.
I'm pretty sure it was. It probably stopped at this point, but hey. All right. That's all we're gonna do.
I'm
This
actually
is-
even more sad about that.
This is the longest episode of Comedy Simp.
Thanks.
78 minutes.
Oh
Holy
my god.
cow.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
We
giving
did
me
it.
hope, Ish.
We'll see
We're-
if this never gets posted.
This is
Most
gonna be-
appearances of all time, right here.
And and also Adam Tiller wanted to be here, but then he decided that he actually had something important to do. All right. Thank you.
Of all time, right here.
And
Let's do one like this. Put your glasses back on.
dude, we did an hour and 20.
Put your
I mean, I knew
Nick,
I
put
had
some glasses
whatever.
back on. Here we go.
Oh, we're
Hold the
doing
microphone.
glasses again.
No, because I'm going to show you those.
I'm wearing a
I got-
Keon sweatshirt too.
Oh, because you have to pee on something.
Oh my god. Oh wait.